I ain't one of these motherfucking females that want any motherfucker on this app. And I mean that.
And stop thinking y'all gonna come on people's panel and change how they feel about something. We said what we said. We not changing it. You can give how many speeches you want to give. We standing on what we said. We don't know these
I don't
people
know why the fuck y'all be thinking y'all gonna come on somebody's
and
platform.
try to check them. Like, get out of
Me.
here.
Ain't nobody gonna check me, bitch, nor nigga. I don't give a fuck. I said what the fuck I said. Y'all can go run and tell that. And better yet, I know you're still here. I talk when the fuck I want to talk. Say what the fuck I want to say. What we talking about? I'm so 313. I'm trill about my motherfucking respect. And I got boundaries. Y'all must ain't learned that about me. Y'all can do all the shit that y'all need to do. But if y'all ain't learned that about me by now, I don't give two hams and a motherfucking biscuit in the morning at all. They was on T Live doing, yeah, they can't do that to me.
Yeah, they not gonna do that over here. That's why we're laughing so much because he thought coming. What was y'all over here talking about? You
Yeah,
knew
they
what
don't
we
work
was
for
over here
me.
talking about. You was already listening to what we was talking about. That playing like you don't know. You knew what we was talking about,
They
and
don't
we
work with
we
me.
just said we don't know the full story. If you want to come up here and try to convince us otherwise, we still gonna say what the fuck we said. We don't know the full story. You keep on talking about an article. I can write an article right now of some bullshit. Don't make it true.
They don't work with me.
Move
They don't
around,
work with me.
clown.
They don't work with me. If I ain't got no motherfucking paperwork in my motherfucking face that's safe from the courts, I don't listen to what people say. I ain't no follower. I'm a motherfucking leader by birth. Y'all can do what y'all want to do. And don't no man, no woman intimidate me at all. Y'all be trying it, boy. Yeah, I don't jump on bandwagons. I hope y'all understand that. I don't jump on no bandwagons. Hey, baby. I don't jump on no bandwagons. That's one thing friend don't do. I don't jump on no bandwagons. What's up, Sherelle? I see you in here.
So did that give y'all a little understanding?
Not without no motherfucking receipts, man. You know.
Oh,
I don't have an understanding. I got a fucking headache.
No. And you know what? I missed whatever he said to you, and however the case may be, right, though, Manny? Everybody on here got a pass, right? Every single last one of us got a pass. Let them people pass be they pass. Everybody on here got a pass. Rather, if everybody on here was willing to admit it. Thank you. That's so cute. Whether if everybody on here is willing to admit it or not. Everybody in the box got a pass. Everybody on this panel got a pass. It's just awareness. It's awareness of what? We don't know what the awareness could be. We don't know if it's the truth or a lie. We don't know nothing. All we know is what people say. And if y'all willing to go on what people say, that'll lead you down the wrong path, then you be a sheep. I'm not a sheep. I'm a wolf. I don't do that. Then you have fun with that. You have fun with that awareness. You be aware then. I don't know the truth. And I'm just gonna do what I do. Thank you, lovely. Just a precaution of what? I don't tend on talking to that man. I don't tend on being on no relationship with none of y'all. I'm married. This is just the next story that y'all got to spread around TikTok for content. He's just the next. victim of y'all's.
Friends, they like to use if it's your kids, be ready. This is not my kid. This is strangers on an app, okay? That's the difference. Y'all put personal with people y'all don't know. I don't give a damn about strangers.
This
It ain't
point,
happening to my kids. Worry about y'all kids and what y'all do with y'all children, and I'll worry about mine. We're talking about strangers here. I don't know you people. I don't give a damn about you people. Move along. Why do y'all want me to care so bad? If y'all want to care, care. It's weird.
Samantha, y'all don't know these people. Y'all don't know these people. Y'all don't know these people. Y'all don't know the truth about nothing. Y'all just know what y'all hear. And y'all keep doing whatever it is that y'all do. I'm just not with you. I ain't getting no pitchfork. I'm not jumping on y'all bandwagon. I'm not doing none of that. May the force be with all of y'all.
Because the part that stood out to me was with inside those what ifs was still his story of it could be a possibility that he definitely was lied on.
But they don't want to go with that angle that could be a possibility, Manny. They want to go with one angle and one angle only. And if you say that you don't know the full story, but it could be this and it could be that, then it can work both ways. Both ways it could work.
But is it because it just could be or could not? I get that. And that's just how I am. Until I got some real paperwork in front of me that said anything, I'm not jumping on y'all bandwagon. I ain't doing that. And I'm not going to use that nothing.
Because how I look at it, like they say, I only heard his side of the story. And his story, he gave me that he was a victim. So in the theory of, like the people say, taking the victim side, he gave me a victim story.
So again, we on a victim side, Manny. You sure is right.
It was not facts. An article isn't facts. It's not.
So if he lied, to the people, but that doesn't change us taking in his story as him being the victim and it actually being able to be backed up with no conviction. For that would be the main thing.
You know what's facts? A grape kit is facts. Yep, anyone can write an article, Britt. A grape kit is facts. I just feel let the law handle. Let me see. Let the law handle it. Exactly. I feel the same way, Wickedest. But at the end of the day, we'll never know the truth. Excuse me.
How did the newspaper find out about the grape part of the story?
Probably word of mouth. The mouths do lie.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But I will say by him probably being on the run, that might have made it more of like a story for the the local paper.
Let me ask you a question, right? No disrespect to nobody, but how many people do we know that have been on the run for the simplest shit? He was arrested on them, but he was also dismissed. We don't know. We'll never know because we weren't there. We're not the justice system. We weren't the cops who arrested him either. We'll never know why he was dismissed.
That's another part I'm thinking about, which is like, if they actually had evidence to go forth, like the Amanda was saying,
kit. If they had a grape kit, right, Manny? Just think about it. If there was a grape kit and he actually graped somebody and they found his DNA on that young person or whoever the person was, don't you think he would still be doing time?
I do.
Yes. And also it was mutual. So yes, it could be a rape kit, but they both wanted it.
Is what y'all telling me?
Huh?
It was consensual, is what y'all telling me?
That's what he's saying, that it was consensual. So be a acquaintance, great. Because it was somebody that, she knew.
I mean, clearly one of them is being dishonest, but how can we say which one?
Right. We're not here to say. We're not going to say because we don't have we don't have other facts, and I wouldn't even say it anyway because I'm not going to judge anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder. He tried to say it was consensual. Okay.
Hey, could I say, like my cousin in North Carolina, it happened to him. The reason why it happened to him is because they was doing, stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, and he didn't, and she gave him some, and he didn't pay her the stuff that he said he was gonna pay her. So she filed charges on him. They locked him up, and they let him go, dismissed the charges. He was locked up for a couple of months. So sometimes people be doing that stuff, and things like that happen. When you're on the streets and doing, stuff that you're not supposed to be doing, smoking that stuff, so. I mean, they had him on a murder, most wanted and everything.
He is recovered, but he is recovered or recovering, however they say it.
And then you have my nephew. He was 18, the girl was 17, and because this was way back in the day, he was out there hustling, and the mother wanted some stuff from him. He didn't give it to her. The mother went down there and filed charges with the girl, and they found out that the girl lied. My nephew is still on life, for real life, have to register for life. And I'm keep telling my nephew he need to go fight against that. And for me, I'm afraid of them type of charges, so I have to fill out applications and stuff like that before I do anything with these women.
It's just sad that, men have these stories. Men are locked up due to these stories. It doesn't get that much attention.
Okay, and better yet, right, Manny? No disrespect to nobody, but let's talk about Emmett Till, right? How did Emmett Till lose his life?
That was due to false allegation. I mean, well, that was due to embellishment
False allegation.
of false allegations because she did
Lie,
utilize him being friendly to her advantage.
right? A lie, right? A lie.
Yes, she did. You know what I'm saying is she did utilize him being friendly to her advantage.
Right? But friendly to her advantage to a lie.
Yes,
No,
to where
how
she
you
did
feel,
lie.
just a lie, just flat out lie. And we don't know if it's the truth or a lie. Either way it go. But how many times do
Well,
we
they
got
say he was a charmer and things, but again, her whole plight was that he offended her, and that's the part where she definitely lied.
were we
At
there? Were we there to know that though? Were we there to know that he offended her?
well, I'm not. I was not there, but that's just
But that
from
was just the
the
story we heard, kind of like this, right? The story we hear.
yes.
Do we want to keep going on stories that we hear?
But she did admit herself before she passed that she lied.
Do we gotta unalive somebody before we get the truth?
Well, she waited till she was old as Methuselah before she said anything. She was actually on her
He
deathbed.
already unalive as a child.
Yes, he was.
Did nobody understanding what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I also do know. I also do know that the people will use the moment against you. They
I
will.
don't think. I don't think that we need to continue to have moments used against any human being to go against you, whether it be woman or man, even children, for that matter. You know, and that's just crazy. And that's just crazy. And in our own community for self gain, or in any community for self gain.
Aiden!
For self
Oh,
gain.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got you. For self gain. You know, Manny, I see a lot of stuff that go on this app, and that's why I stay to myself. And I'm glad that I have I got divine power around me 24/7 to where God separates me from the shit. To where I don't have to be around people that's going to set me up or do none of the things. I'm okay with being around the people that I'm around. I'm okay with being separated from the bullshit. Because I don't have to be a part of them kind of shenanigans and all that bad energy. I'm all right with that. I'm all right with having a small platform. Because what I see on a regular or how shit get done, even you, or how shit get done with you, that shit be bold as fuck. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being by myself. I'm okay with being with my small platform. I'm okay with all of that. Because when you got them big ass platforms with these fake ass friends, that downfall that a lot of y'all take with that beefing with each other and shit, it's all right, Kenny. I'm glad I don't have to be a part of that. Because what's for me is going to be for me. And the table that I build and the people that sit at it is going to sit at it. If not, then they most definitely can scoot their chair out and move along. But I don't have to deal with what I see y'all deal with. And I choose not to. I choose to protect my peace. Because if that's what people want to deal with, is getting jackets painted on them and shit, just to have a content creator name, I don't need it. I'll just keep my name. I'm all right with being me. I'm all right with this energy. I might jump up in the box and check on you, have a conversation with you and all the things, but I don't need it that bad, Manny. I don't. I don't need to beef with nobody. I don't need to paint no jacket on nobody. I don't need to tear another black person down to get nowhere.
But friends, it do work both ways because also Telvin is able to tell his story. So again, if he is truly a victim, that should be heard as well.
No, it should be, right, Manny? It should be heard. But why should the bad things be heard, right? Why should another creator tell the bad things and then the man got to come behind him and tell the other things, right? Got to come and tell the other things. And then we still got to sift through it and he still get that jacket painted on him. Oh, thank you. And got to get that jacket painted on him in order for us to still try to figure out some shit. And then people still painting that jacket on that man. And we still don't know the truth. Do you know the truth, Manny?
Well, I'm only going by what he said yet again because again, I try to take people for face value. So I'm taking him for face value, and plus the things that can be proven.
Yeah, he
So
told his story, but the story that's already been told on him though make him look what?
well, and that's what I take it part of because the news article does go with it, but I'm able to distinguish between the situation.
Right.
Like, so I know the news article go with it, but I don't have to stay stuck in just that moment. I can actually take his word in as well and digest it, and like the people pointed out, put it with the story, and like y'all say, does it come with a conviction and things like that? I also do know many stories like the man just came up of black men being falsely accused. So I just choose to go with his story because, again, this is not far-fetched for a black man to be falsely accused. There's a lot of elements in this story, but I do feel like his story should also be told as well from his point of view if he truly is a victim. That's important. We spend our days talking about women's issues all the time. Even this story in itself turns itself back around into a woman's issue and what a woman goes through. The man came up above me, gave you two stories of his family members, males,
Yeah,
to a
absolutely.
panel full of women, to a panel full of women. So I get both sides. I get that the women and the men want to bring awareness, and I also get that he has a voice as well, and his story matters from his point of view as well, depending on how deep it goes.
Well, Manny, I hope you get some real factual receipts for the story, and not just a bunch of hearsay. You know?
Well, now he did provide me with a different angle, which is men being falsely accused, because that is what he said. It's all his story, but it doesn't change the topic. The topic, just like how the topic started off, it don't change the topic. It's just the people.
I think that's why we should leave stuff like this to the court of law and not the court of TikTok.
But when we do have these topics, as y'all see, many people come out. So we also have to be mindful of, like, people are really dealing with things. These things grab people's attention. They are engaging. They are actually speaking. A lot of things are happening at one time.
And that's good for those people, right? That's good for the people that come out and speak about the stories like you just heard them, right, Manny? Because that gives you more context of the things that you need to talk about in your newsroom, about how people can get falsely accused and without all the things that need to be had with the evidence and the DNA and all the things, right? And somebody downstairs said, well, where's his support of the men that he could vent to, or whatever the case may be. Evidently on this app, it ain't nobody who he can vent to, because he's going to be persecuted and judged. But tomorrow, maybe it'll be a different thing. What's up, sis? Maybe it'll be a different thing for you to have something tomorrow, you know?
But also, we can't take away from platforms like yourself that does give us that perspective. Because as you see, it is a lot of group thinkers. So we do need those that push back in whatever angle, to where you don't appease either side. We do need that as well.
Well, you know, they don't like when you don't become a bandwagon rider. I'm not a bandwagon rider because I'm not trying to appease anybody. I just want facts. I don't want to put that on someone when it could not be true. And even if it is true, we need facts to make it factual. We just don't want to just go ahead and label somebody up.
That's why we need you. That's why we need you and platforms like you, because that's the biggest part that I leave here with, is you reminding and putting forth first facts and repeating that facts. Because regardless of where we go in the story, we do need to be mindful of the facts. A lot of times we'll go left field, don't be no facts. But there are very few people that really stay focused on facts. So we do need those who are focused on facts to continue to remind everybody, please don't forget the facts.
And that's the original newsroom caster. Mm-hmm.
And that's why we have the jurors, because they have to go by facts. Am I correct? Facts.
That's true. I think it's room for all of us, actually. I really do. Yeah, the people do. But I think, as you see, they do come to hear from you. So you got to take the good with the bad.
$30? Oh, price tag.
Hey, y'all, I just want to say good night. Y'all have a good night. And stay blessed. Y'all here?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't let these TikTok streets stress y'all out.
No, I ain't stressed at all. You can see, you know when I'm serious.
Yo.
I saw it all in your face. I was like, Lord have mercy. I was like, oh, shit.
You know how these people want to put you in boxes. Life is complicated, y'all. And we know that Black men are falsely accused. And we know that women are out here and they're getting assaulted, right? But these are strangers, y'all. And I just think life is too short.
Yeah, and it's so important for us to tell our sons, you know, when you are in that situation, when that female tells you no, stop, you have to do so.
Cause
My son already said when he lose his virginity, he about to get it in a text that the girl he like, I'm gonna get some kind of proof. Text me to say you want me. Don't be like, oh, I want you this minute, don't want you this minute. Don't play. I told him too many little girls be trying to play games. Be secure and know what you sticking your thing into, because it comes with consequences. Too many little girls are learning from their lying ass mamas on how to lie on males. So I ain't down with it. Just because you say something, you're going to have to show me proof, baby girl. Don't be setting up. I got 2 boys. You ain't going to be setting up my boys just because you in your feeling.
Well, you got to get a contract. You got to get.
You got to. But I ain't taking no chances with my boys, though. They not taking no chances out here. Because when you let a motherfucker slide, they try to skate. You're not going to play on my son's top. You're not going to play with their intelligence. You're not going to play with where they're going in life. Bitches play too much, and they play victim too much. That's why, if it ain't facts, I don't care.
What's up, Attorney Mimi? I see you in the room. So, good night. Yeah, we got to teach our sons to protect themselves, and that's bad that we got to do that. All right, good night, Texas.
But we have to do it more, because you clearly see people they believe a woman off top. It don't matter.
I got a couple questions, man. That's bad. I'm glad I know you now, because I got a couple questions. Child. Got a couple questions. So.
Hey friends, how are you doing?
Hey, Attorney.
Hey Powers, how you doing? Hey Mad Day, how you doing?
Hello.
Good.
How you doing, Manny?
Attorney Mimi. This is where we get our law opinions from. Okay. They're stressing me out again, girl. They're stressing me out. Right. Now, I came on here today, and Manny, I don't know if you saw Manny's live, and they had somebody on here with all the things in these SA cases.
Yes, I saw it. I actually did see it.
You saw it?
Yes, I did.
Tell me your opinion on that, please. I'm gonna mute up.
Oh Lord. I don't even know where to begin. I think when it comes to people's allegations or criminal backgrounds and things like that, I think people should stay away from them. Okay? If you don't know nothing about things like that, leave it alone.
Yeah.
With that being said, I understand that there is a need for the community to bring awareness to with the type of people that we have in our community. But, and I'm trying to craft this really carefully. If you don't have all the facts, how are you going to bring awareness to something?
Can you just repeat that for the people in the back?
If you don't have all the facts, okay, and by facts mean you have tangible evidence, not somebody's word of mouth. You have documentation. That's
not an article.
Right, like actual documentation that says something, right? If you don't have that, then what is the purpose of you dragging somebody who you don't know for sure received what you're claiming they received?
Didn't I say that? I said that. Let me mute.
We all been saying that, but the attorney just said it very nicely.
They was mad at me for saying that. I'm like, I don't want to hear your mouth chirping and burping and all the things. I need to see paperwork. Kind of like what we talked about yesterday.
I don't know who TB ENT2 is, but that exactly. Imagine a DA using an article as evidence.
You know,
Why would
that
you?
hearsay? Isn't that hearsay? And
It could
that
be.
would,
It could be seen as hearsay. Yes.
thank
it's
you.
not admissible in court.
But here's the thing. Like you don't. If you are being charged with a crime, whether that be grape or murder or robbery or whatever, wouldn't you want somebody to have all the evidence and all the facts lined up if they're going to send you to prison for something? Wouldn't you want the evidence to be stacked up against you enough to be like, dang, yay, they got all the evidence.
So they can't go back and say nothing.
Now. They got me now.
Right.
Like
yeah, they got me. They got me.
me now. Shut
Right.
They was, come on.
Right. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a lawyer.
They don't want to hear the truth.
Okay.
They don't want to hear the truth, it attorney Mimi. They wanna tell me, and they want me to jump on this bandwagon with their ass. And I'm not jumping on no bandwagon with nobody, especially painting no jacket like that. And I don't have no evidence, and I ain't hear no story, and I don't even want to hear a story. I want to see paperwork. I want to see the allegations. I want to see the DNA test. I want to see all the things before I make this assumption up in my mind and say, yes, this is what happened.
And I said, like we talked about this last night, friends. What's the best evidence? The best evidence is the facts, the documentation.
Somebody told me a great kid is not admissible in court.
Well, I don't know who told you that told you that, but that's
down in the comments.
Did they say that? I missed that. That's a lie. That's the reason why they do it.
Look, DNA evidence is one of your best evidence.
Yes, exactly. Because that can.
So what do you? So and here's the thing, Powers. Unless you can prove that there is a misuse in the chain of command or chain of custody or something like that, like how do you know, absent any of those type of circumstances, that the DNA evidence is not true? We have to believe it's true until there's something else that says it's not.
Attorney Mimi, they told me I got the worst panel. I got an attorney and an officer of the law in my bed.
And you have to give, and you do that great at the hospital.
Yes,
nobody else is doing it but a nurse or doctor or whoever is specialized in doing that type of testing. Is a special kit.
Correct.
It's a kit.
And it's what we call forensics evidence, right? So that there's a chain of custody that goes to that. So once that kit is taken, it's taken to the lab, it's tested, and it is stored in a place to where nobody can touch that. You mess with that's tampering with evidence. You can get, and that is a serious charge if you tamper with evidence.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I don't know nothing.
Okay. Oh no, you don't know nothing, but you an officer of the law, and she don't know nothing, and she an attorney. All right, my next question.
Here's the thing: there's not a lot of difference between me and Power. She's an officer of the law, and I'm an officer of the court, right?
Not at all.
She is the investigative arm of what I do.
Right.
Y'all see, I didn't sit up here and argue with them. Well, you didn't see it, Attorney Mimi, but they did.
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue with y'all. I'm not gonna argue with stupid. Y'all know how I feel about that. I don't argue with stupid.
That's why I told him that, friends, we only go on facts over here.
Yep.
We're not judging
You showed
anybody.
me, you and Mad Day both, all of y'all got me shut down.
Yes, you shut down very quick.
I don't argue with stupid.
Once I knew I wasn't going to get an answer from the first question I asked, I knew it was a bunch of bullshit, because if you're saying it one way, you got to see it the other way too.
Let's talk about the registry. All right. When you are deemed a SA or a rapist, aren't you put on the registry, whether if it's an adult or a child?
Yes. So the registry is for anybody who commits a crime of a sexual nature.
Thank you.
And it doesn't have to be a child. It doesn't have to. It's not just children. It's not just adult. It's anyone. Anyone. It could be male or female. Anyone that has been charged and convicted of a crime of a sexual nature goes on that
You
list.
know, they told me I didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Well,
And if
then
they don't exactly.
Just told me I didn't know what I was talking about. They said it's only for children.
no, it's not.
I know it's not, but I ain't have to tell my business for a motherfucker to know. You get what I'm saying? Because I ain't one of the motherfuckers that gotta tell my business all on this motherfucker TikTok.
So they think it's okay for somebody who has raped 5 women to not be on the sex offender registry and to be living next door to them without knowing that? Like, that's crazy.
I told them it's for adults and children. These motherfuckers said no, it's not.
And that's why there's a site that you can go on to see who lives in your neighborhood.
Yes.
Right. But there may be somebody next door.
Exactly, Powers.
I'm not telling that. I said you can look it up online and see.
Yep.
Yes, most definitely.
They have apps for that now.
Yeah, they have the apps for that.
They told me I ain't know what I was talking about.
Even they put on there if they're a house for felons
halfway houses in your neighborhood.
Exactly.
I know. I got the neighborhood app on my phone. These motherfuckers don't know what they talking about. That's why I don't argue with stupid. I don't argue with stupid. I don't argue with stupid. These motherfuckers that jump on these bandwagons, I don't argue with stupid, y'all. I'm sorry. Did anybody else hear me tell them that? And they told me that it was a lie?
They told us that we were for him. We we're not.
That doesn't mean you're for him because
but they're trying to say that we're against the person who, the victim. We not.
So too. How the law works, very gray. I like to call it like a nice little mixture of white and black. That's what the law is, okay? If you literally mix white and black together, you will get a nice shade of gray. That is what the law is, right? So you cannot say, oh, he's been he's adjudicated or convicted or whatever of it, but just because he has been adjudicated don't mean he ain't do it or he did it, right? Two things can be true as one at the same time. Just because he was adjudicated for it doesn't mean that he ain't do it. Just means that they didn't have enough evidence to suggest that, right? And so the facts are what the facts are, right? We are not here to say he did it because we can't even say that there was enough facts against him to say he did it.
Friends, in Manny's live, didn't Uchi say that he took a plea deal and that's how he got out of it? Or didn't get...
You gotta hear that. You gotta ask Manny. I wasn't.
I'm pretty sure he said he took a plea and that was how he didn't get convicted of that. But then in here, he said it was because she didn't show up.
Oh?
What was the plea for?
Manny?
For the burglary.
Okay, so it wasn't for the sexual assault charge.
No, that was for burglary.
Okay, so
sexual assault apparently got dismissed because she didn't show up.
Okay, so two things can be saying. I mean, if he's got multiple charges stacked against him like that, right? He could have took a plea for the burglary, and I've seen this. He could have took a plea for the burglary, but because they didn't have enough evidence against him, or maybe because she did not show up for the sexual assault charges, they dismissed that, right? That can't be true. That can happen.
Manny, in your live, did he say that it was dropped because she didn't show up?
Now that I don't really remember. Per se. because a lot had been transpired. So I don't really remember per se.
Manny, do you remember whether or not it was said that he was charged or took a plea for the sexual assault charges?
In under the G
Mm,
or something like that. But later it was not there.
okay.
And so that's why he's saying that he was lied on.
Mm.
So
Okay.
wouldn't they? Okay, so wouldn't they get him for that charge more than they would get him for the burglary charge, though?
That's not how it works, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, and you will only do something like that kind of scenario if there's what we call a lesser included offense, right? So like instead of if there was a burglary charge and then a theft charge or something like that, right? Maybe he took a plea for a theft instead of burglary, right? Which will be a lesser included offense, right? But the sexual assault charge is a totally different category.
Mhm.
It's a totally different charge. So if I was a prosecutor, I'd go after both
Okay.
because I mean you have to handle it to get together, right? But if you don't have enough evidence for one, and maybe you have more evidence on the other, right? Or maybe he said he will cop to the other one over the other. That's fine. He could still do that, right? He can negotiate for that. Absolutely.
So that
But
would be part of the
if I don't have enough evidence for something, yeah, I would try to plea him down if I don't have enough evidence for him.
that would be a part of the plea,
Yeah,
right?
and you
Mhm.
would go for the lesser included offense, which would be if it's burglary and then you got theft. The theft will be the lesser included offense. So you would try to see if you get a plea for theft.
Mhm. Mhm. Mad Day, did you have any questions?
I ain't got no questions. You know, I'm chilling up.
And I just had to
You
rub these
funny,
folks wrong in all the things.
you funny Mad Day.
No, I just love it when somebody comes up and they say the same thing we been saying, and then people start listening. You know? Oh Lord, my baby's singing, y'all. I gotta go back on mute.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead. I heard him saying. It's just awful funny how you came up and said the same thing, like she said that we were saying, and we was getting called all these names. Well, especially Mad Day. Mad Day was getting called all these names.
They was mad when they friends at me.
Yeah, they was mad.
I'm sorry that happened to y'all, but I mean, like we talked about last night, people need to start doing Google searches.
They was telling us to go Google stuff, and I'm like, I ain't going to go. I said it. I'm not about to go Google a motherfucking thing, you know. But see, that's why it's good to have people like you and Powers in my corner when I need these questions answered, because y'all professionals. These motherfuckers ain't no professionals. These motherfuckers is the mob with the pitchforks and the fire sticks and the bandwagon riders trying to set some shit on fire. They might as well just go ahead and throw the sticks on them and set their own selves on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't listen to these motherfuckers if somebody told me to. I don't care who it was that told me to listen. I'm not listening to y'all. And me and you was even having a discourse last night. Like, I need proof. I need facial, visual proof of some stuff. Like, shame on these folks.
It becomes problematic when you start creating narratives and jumping to conclusions, and you don't have the factual backing to support any of it.
That's right.
My profession is based on evidence.
Right.
I don't feel morally and ethically right if I pursue something without evidence. I will straight up tell my clients, I'm not moving forward because there's not enough evidence here to support this.
And remember, we was talking about, people getting framed and all the things because they don't have enough evidence. People need to have enough evidence, enough facts, because it's not cool to say this person did this and they didn't do it. We just had the same conversation last night, and it's just so funny. Here we go again tonight. We just talked about this. We just talked about this
We
like
did.
2 days in a row about these people on this app, and it just keep happening. But I stand firm on not listening to these folks. I'm not listening to these people, Attorney Mimi. I'm not doing it. And I wasn't even in there for what was said, but I just don't do accusations very well. He might have told his story. I wasn't in there for his story. So, of course, the people like, well, he said this and he said that. Okay, I hear Manny saying it, but until we got some actual factual shit with the paperwork, because, people say they went and looked it up online and they still didn't find nothing. You can find stuff online, right? About the case.
You might find news articles, but sometimes, and especially with sexual court cases, they may hide them, right? Because you don't want to expose, especially if it's like a child involved or something like that. You don't want to expose those type of things. So, like, if you actually find paperwork on stuff like that, that's what we call sealed information. Some things, and some things that we as attorneys know how to get access to. And in my opinion, that's an abuse of power, because you should not be doing that. Those things are sealed for a reason.
And like right? He would be on the registry regardless.
Yes, if he did have a conviction against him, he will more than likely, it's a high probability, he will be on the registry list.
That's all we need right there is the registry list. That's it. That would be it right there. That would be it. Like I told him earlier. So, they tried to argue me down about that. Like, my point been proven. Like, that registry list is everything. If you've been convicted of something like that, that registry list, you going on there. Your name is going on that list. And like you said, if you don't get on that,
and it's I want to preface by saying this, like, it's not 100%, but the likelihood that they would be on that list is high, right? Most sexual cases, people who've committed those crimes, convicted, because those are the only people that go on that list, convicted of those crimes, that's how they get on that list.
In this incident, alleged incident, was said to have happened in 2016. So I know sometimes, I think like for material on the computer, like, it doesn't stay, you don't have to register for life. But for what?
So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Amanda. So yes, he could at one time have been on it for a certain amount of years, right? Sometimes you get people that get it for 5 years. Sometimes you get people that get it for 2 years, 3 years. I've seen lifers that stay on it. I know I've met a couple of lifers that are still on it. But you're exactly correct that he could have been on it at one point. We don't know. But if he's not on it now, that means however long he was given to be on that list has expired. And once that time expires, they're taken off. So they're not going to be on that list. So you wouldn't know if he was on the list unless you looked at it back then when he had the time and he was supposed to be on it.
So when people do stuff like what transpired today, As a lawyer, what would you look at that as? Just your opinion.
I take all of it with a grain of salt. And I don't want to offend anyone by saying that. I do feel that, yes, if you want to make people aware of people in the community who are doing things like this, I'm all for it. I am an avid advocate for DV situations, sexual assault situations, and things like that. Right? I have represented DV victims in court, so I understand the need to make people aware. But facts and facts, and you can't go around accusing people of doing things without all the facts. An article that you Google searched on the internet, is it factual? It could be. It could not be. But I wouldn't take that as factual. I would want to look at the actual file that the court has. That's factual to me.
Right. I always agree with that. We had that conversation the other day. I go off of facts. I can